We are the Liberty Intelligence Organization Network. And this is our news recap show where we put out a bunch of information. Sometimes I'm the host. You can call me the captain. And sometimes it's just some information. Sometimes there's always links. There's always stuff you can go look at. And again, the whole point is to encourage other people to start looking into the truth. Now here on the Liberty Intelligence Organization Network News Recap Show, we're trying to get people up to date on a criminal organization that is ambitions are driven towards global domination, like the game of Risk, the game of global domination. Except it's the New World Order, and they want to win, and they're doing pretty good in the game. The liberty movement, the free humanity is really we're losing the game of Risk here, and except it's not a game, it's very real. But what we're talking about here is propaganda, and that's really all about human perception of the world around them. And propaganda is meant to skew or alter individuals' perception of the world around them. We went over a bunch of stuff. Last time I had to switch gears, and last thing we were talking about some different branches of the New World Order, but that really ties into propaganda because usually the propaganda in, as Henry Kissinger said, the New World Order is different things and different people in different parts of the world. What does your part of the world have? If you're in the United States, again, it's a propaganda machine, it is a military control arm, and it's a police state. That is what the New World Order is in the United States of America, and it's outsourced. It's really the New World Order. If you want to get to brass tacks about it, the United States for the New World Order is the muscle. They use the army and the military of the United States to dominate the rest of the world. Well, at the same time, the source of their intelligence, I think the head, the brain of the New World Order is in London, really. What is it in your part of the world? Again, if you're in China, it's a slave-driven economic structure to cripple all the other rest of the world's manufacturing capabilities. It's their economic center of the world is in China, and the New World Order has different branches in different parts of the world, but they're all connected to the New World Order. All the guys, no matter who they are, the puppet masters, the leaders of the New World Order, they're benefiting no matter what country their places are in. But if you're a citizen of an individual nation, you are not benefiting from this. You're probably being consumed by it because they're feeding off of our energy, off of our minds, off of our hard labor in order to do these things. And they're trying to convince our minds through propaganda that this is the way it's supposed to be. This is the way it's always been. They want us to think that this is normal. It's normal to be a slave. They want it to be okay in our minds. They're prepping us. They're preparing us mentally for what they're about to do because they know if they do that through propaganda, then people tend to accept it as normal. So that's really what it's all about. Now, what I want to talk about now is the UN and NATO deception. They're deceptions that they really propagate, and they propagate quite a lot around the world. One of them I'm actually going to talk about is pretty prevalent to recent news. Let me do a quick time check. Sorry about always doing time checks, folks. It's just YouTube limits me to a certain amount of time, and I don't know how to do more. If you know more, drop me a line, let me know. Again, that's what the world should be all about, is us truly, unconditionally, just human care for one another, and I want to spread valuable information that can empower an individual to live life on a much more secure and controlled level, which will ultimately bring more happiness to oneself and an ability to truly alter the world around them. And a lot of people like to think that you need money to do this. It's all about ideas, folks. Money helps, but ideas can really jumpstart an awakening of humanity. And again, once you step into this role, once you embark on the crusade to bring knowledge and empowerment to people, it doesn't matter about you anymore. Like as I mentioned, I barely survive as it is. I'm lucky that I happen to have a supportive family that can keep me alive in this crucial economic times where it's near impossible to sustain yourself as an individual, which is the goal, but the goal of the New World Order, of course. But it doesn't. I'm not doing this for personal benefit anymore. It's not about my life anymore. My life, it means nothing if in the future the children of my family members are slaves. My life means nothing if I only allow evil to take control. So it doesn't matter anymore. And once you do this, I'm already a target now for the New World Order. They will, and I have had certain confrontations that I'm hesitant to talk about, but they will come at you, and they will make you aware that you are a target for them, and that if they want at any moment, they will get rid of you in any way, shape, or form. They'll find a way. I think, again, for people like me, other people like me on the internet, we're putting out these videos, putting out information, finding links. It's going to be just shut down the internet. That's the way they're going to stop us, is just shut down the internet. And that's coming, folks. Let me do another time check. So I want to get into the UN and NATO deception. This is going to be a couple of segments because it really involves the biggest scam of all, the biggest propaganda move to get us to buy into tyranny. Which is the environmental movement as it stands with this green global warming crap. That's really the biggest lie, the biggest scam of all, the biggest propagated deception. Before I get into that, I also want to talk about the stuff the UN likes to foster. First of all, the UN likes to say that it gives us our human rights. It declares human rights. Again, human rights are given to you naturally from birth. They're not given to you by any nation, by any government, by any individual. They're given to you by the creator of all things. If you don't believe in a creator, they're given to you by the Big Bang. They're given to you by the fact that you have a mind and a body and are living. You have these natural rights and liberties as a living thing. The UN does not decide your rights. That's a deception they like to pull. They like to convince people that they're the reason you have rights. No, 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 no. Your life is the reason you have rights. Another thing, they like the UN and NATO. They mainly like that they have peacekeeping missions. We're here for peacekeeping. And again, I always like to joke, a bunch of soldiers in blue hats riding with a tank and machine guns and say, "We're here to keep the peace. Brrr! We're keeping it peaceful." Brrr! As they gun people down. It's like, well, I guess if they say they're there to declare peace, it's okay to kill people because they're killing people in the name of peace. Again, folks, it's doublethink, it's doublespeak, it's crazy Twilight Zone. But that's one of the deceptions the UN likes to pull. We're here to keep the peace as they kill people. Crazy. And again, the other thing they like to do is make up stuff to control taxation on a global scale. And that's where the environmental movement pulls in. It is a means to control taxation on a global scale, to give the New World Order the ability to tax all nations and to have all that money go into one central source so it's easier for them to extract from. Again, they have extraction units and private banking corporations all over the world that extract federal money from the people into their private coffers. They just want to make it easier on themselves and really use it as a more domination over the globe to have a global tax on something, and it's with carbon. They're going to use the environmental movement and carbon. It's all a propagated, planned crap. If you want to know the truth, I'm actually going to link to an article about this. There hasn't been global warming in 15 years. Since the moment they started the global warming talks, global warming stopped, okay? The Earth actually is cooling. We're actually in a cooling process. But I'm not going to tell you that the Earth's going to freeze over because I don't think that either. I think the Earth goes through cycles, as historical scientific evidence would show. But again, they like to lie and make up stories and fairy tales that people believe simply because they wear the suit of authority. And as I don't wear a suit. I have no masks. I'm not trying to hide or deceive anyone about anything. All I want people to know is the truth, and to encourage people to look for the truth more adamantly. So let me do another time check. Yeah, this is going to be a lengthy segment because the UN is really involved in the propaganda stuff. And as I mentioned, one of the main things they like to talk about is something very relevant to anyone living in the final days of 2012. And I don't mean the end of the world, folks. I mean, we're coming up on 2013 here. So you'll be well aware of one of the topics I have to talk about with UN propaganda. And that being said, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. And as always, I want to remind everyone to stay safe, to stay strong, to stay free, and to stay informed. Thanks for tuning in.